Besides your nice service that you're going to have at St. Clair's, any other particular ways that you're going to celebrate Christmas at the First Presbyterian?
Well, just, more traditional types of services. The Christmas Eve service at 7, and then after the Sunday after Christmas, we'll sing some Christmas carols and have, again, kind of a lighter service. A lot of singing at the Presbyterian Church. I don't know if you've noticed that. But that'll be our celebration this year.
But I like the singing part, and I can't carry a tune. That's why I sit in the front of the church. That those people behind me can lead me, and they can't hear me.
No, singing's a huge part of our celebration. I think as humans, singing's a huge part of most of our celebrations. So we'll be doing it.
I like it, and I like it. I don't. This is like a confession.
Okay.
I don't like being taught the hymns I don't know. I like to sing every time the hymns I know because I can kind of follow the tune a little.
Right. But at some point you didn't know those.
I don't know. There are a couple of them I think I knew. I was born
You were
knowing.
born knowing.
My trouble with the hymn singing is if there are six or eight verses, they do them all.
Yes.
Whereas I thought first, second, third, or first, second, and last be enough.
Yeah.
Well, my mother-in-law's church just sings the first verse, and then they raise their hand and pick out a song. Lots of churches do that.
Yes.
And then they sing one verse of your song
Keep the people
and one
down.
verse of your song. And one time at her church, I raised my hand and I said, "Could we finish that hymn?" It was a nice one. Why not use
Boy,
the
you
whole
have a
thing?
democratic operation now, guys. We don't.
Yeah.
We just tell them you're going to do hymn number 26.
Oh yeah, well we do that at our church
we do
too.
that sometimes.
But
It depends on the day whether or not we give anybody.
That's what I used to tell Bill Turner when on his sermons. I said, "Well, what did you get today? Did you reach in the file and pull out number 22 or did you get 38?" I always worked well for God rest his soul. He's now gone with us. So, is there anything in particular in your 7 years with us? Boy, it's been a quick 7 years, Phil. It sticks out as a memory with you and your career here in Lincoln?
Well, obviously, the time I've spent with Judy, and meeting her, and,
that's a given. Yeah,
just being with her has stuck out with me. And now, it's really been interesting to get deeper into the community. I'd say that's been the more overwhelming feeling from my time is, Lincoln's it's a fairly tight little place. A lot of people have lived here a very long time. And generations. And even last year, one of our members referred to me as the new pastor. And I don't know how long I have to stay to pass that mark. But it's getting more involved in the community and knowing more people and understanding how Lincoln works and getting to build relationships and that sort of thing has been very meaningful and very fun. I can't think of one specific kind of overriding memory which captures the whole experience for me, but that sentiment does.
it's a good place to raise a family,
Yes.
don't you think?
Yes.
Really. You don't have to have the constant fear that you have in a big city.
Right.
Times have changed. There are crazy people out there that'd be happy to steal a child.
Yes.
You hear it on the news day in and day out,
We always try to start with kudos, and a late kudo this morning comes to mind with our friend Glenn Shelton.
Oh, yes.
The recognition he recently received, the career write-up, and kudos to them for recognizing what Glenn has meant to not only his folks in his church, but into the community. He came in here and invested himself in the community, involved himself in the community, and so kudos to Glenn. Good to wait.
Yeah.
Well, and by extension, to his wife, anyone who hasn't had a chance to meet Ginger Shelton has missed something. She is just good. That's the word, I guess. She is. She's fun. She's everything, isn't she?
Well, the folks in the positions of pastors in and around the community are obviously they're in a position to do a great deal of good because they have their influence not only in their own church but in a different way in the communities around us, and they all make their contributions. I think of the nice folks, the folks who rent the building that we have on Broadway. Those folks have gone in there, and they've just almost doubled their attendance in a year's time. That's pretty remarkable.
That is, yeah.
If we doubled our attendance, we'd be in ecstasy at our church.
Yeah, right.
Wouldn't we all?
All churches would be so.
Yes.
But each one, I mentioned not in a facetious way, each one in their own way, in their own right, has an influence on individual or individuals in the community, which bode for good in our community.
That's right. Yep.
You know, in this country, a large majority of people claim to be Christian. But then the next question on the survey would be, and how regularly do you attend church?
Right, it's not that regularly anymore.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
I don't know what you do about that. I really, that boggles my mind, because you can invite people to come, but you can't make people change a habit.
Right.
Well, that's kind of like voting in a way, you know. It's a right, but it's not exercised to a great degree.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
No, I think it's kind of taken for granted. You know, I mean, the church always tends to thrive a little bit more when there's conflict or tension, and not conflict within the church, but just more kind of general conflict in the society or whatever. So, there's the church. You know, in America, it's awfully easy to be Christian. If you think about some of the other places in the world, it's a lot harder. And in those places, I bet people turn up every Sunday for worship. But here, you know, if I miss this Sunday, it'll be here next Sunday, and I'll be able to do it, and it'll be fine then.
Well, that's just not something off the top of your head, though. That's a proven fact.
Yeah,
that when the church is under stress, it grows.
Yes, and people respond to that because, you know, then you have to put your trust in God, and you got to decide, am I going to put my chips in here or am I not? And, you know, a lot of times people decide to go ahead and put their chips on the table with the church and say, I'm going to stick with it and I'm going to make it happen. And again, I'm not talking about conflict over, like, pew cushions. You know, I'm talking about threats to the existence of the church, or threats to the practice of Christianity. So that does tend to inhibit.
The thing is, if one feels that one is Christian, in every other facet of your life, you gather together with people of like mind. You know, if you like to read, your friends generally are people who like to read. Maybe you've got a book club going. You know, if you like to sell grapefruit, you'd belong to the Rotary, right?
Right.
Yeah. You know, so you always kind of gravitate toward people of like mind. So wouldn't church attendance be basically that same sort of thing? If you have this feeling in your life, wouldn't you want to gather together with others of like mind?
Well, you would think so, and I think some people do, and some people feel, though, like religion is personal and private. And if you think it's a personal and private matter, then you don't want to do that. You feel like you'd rather go walking in the woods. But, you know, that's not the faith as Christians. That's not the faith we've been given. We have not been given a personal and private faith. We've been given a communal faith that's to be exercised, I think, in community. And so that's been a kind of a miscommunication, I think, from the church to the community and to the society, is that, you know, it's something you can do on your own. You just take care of it yourself.
We've been very pleased this morning to have with us Reverend Phil Blackburn, First Presbyterian Church. We're kind of discussing life in general, and the background noise would be Jim's cat. Just came out of the dungeon. And,
well, the ductwork.
That's surprising, isn't it?
Great moments in radio history. Right here.
Well, I try to close Viewpoint with a little saying of something. This has to do with winter. Sure enough is here. You know, noise seems to last too long. Probably comes in one year and goes out the other. Thank you for Viewpoint.